Shalom, brothers. Welcome to another episode of, or should I say, another installment of GMS Archaeology. As you know, my name is Elder Tazadakbar, and today I'm going to be embarking upon attacking this Christmas bullshit, but I'm attacking it from one aspect of it. One of the main aspects, as you can see, you got the Christmas tree sitting in front of you here on the screen, all lit up. These people lit up the Christmas tree down at Rockefeller Center. You got people got their Christmas tree set up all up in their house. But the thing that I want to attack this evening about this Christmas so-called farce, or call it what it is, Christmas bullshit. The number one bullshit is the nativity. This is called the nativity scene, and basically the nativity of the one that the world calls Jesus Christ. We know him as Yahweh. Number one, in pretty much all these nativity scenes, they always show him as Joseph and Mary being a cracker man, a cracker woman, and they show a cracker baby. This is totally false, because we know, those of you that are in the know as far as Israel goes, knows that the Lord is a black man. You know that Joseph and Mary is a black man and a black woman that had a black baby, Yahweh Shai, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. Now this image here, this is more like it. It's kind of hard to find images of the nativity, here on the net that depict it the right way with black people in it, like it should be, or should I say, black Israelites. And this is a more on point depiction. Where this picture goes off is the man sitting here, who would be Joseph. You see he has no beard on his face. First of all, Joseph kept the law, and he was from the line of King David, and you know how King David felt about the beard. When two of David's men was caught, I believe, by a Moabite king, and they shaved off half the beard and they cut part of their garment off to shame him, and sent them back to David. And then David told them, don't come back into the city until your beard is grown back. So this is off right here, no beard, and then on top of that there's a yarmulke on top of the head. We weren't wearing no damn yarmulkes back there in Israel at the time of Yahweh Shai's birth. That's that so-called Jewish bullshit. But other than that, the picture is pretty much on point. You got Mary here, black woman, and then you got the baby here, which is supposed to be Yahweh Shai, a black boy. So, this picture is pretty much on point as far as that aspect. Now, what I'd like to go into, since we're dealing with this thing about the nativity, I want to straight up attack it from its very foundation. Now, which would be, we have to go to the book of Luke. Now, in the book of Luke, the 2nd chapter, it tells you about the birth of Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to pull that up. We're going to read into it, as what most of these people will be reading when they're going to go into in their church on so-called Sunday. Because this week, today, this is Wednesday night actually, December 21st. This so-called Sunday is going to be so-called Christmas. So they're going to be in there. They're going to read Luke, the 2nd chapter, about the Lord being born and talking about the nativity and this and that. But we're going to debunk all that garbage right now. Luke 2:1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made with Cyrenius, when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which the city of David is Bethlehem, Baeth Lachem, which means Baeth is house, Lachem is bread, the house of bread, Bethlehem. It says, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David. That's in the parentheses, which means an added thought. But the truth of the matter is, he was of the house and lineage of David. There's no disputing that. He's directly from David's line. And Joseph left basically out of Galilee to go into Bethlehem to do what? To pay taxes. It says here, verse 5, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. Meaning Mary was his spouse. That's why in Spanish, when you say that's my wife, you say, oh, ella mi esposa. And she'll say, oh, mi esposo. Sposo pertaining to the man. Sposa, the I at the end makes it feminine. Esposa, meaning my wife. That was his wife. You know, these people will have you believe in the world that the Lord Yahweh Shai was born of a immaculate conception, which that is just total unadulterated bullshit. The Lord was born of a man and a woman coming together and having sex. How is he going to be of the seed of David? And his father is from the line of David. If his father didn't get his mother pregnant with sex, then how the hell is he coming from the seed of David? Doesn't make no sense. You people are basically gone and out of your mind, and that's another topic in itself. But I want to stay on the point of debunking this nativity story. Now, it says that they left out of Galilee to go into Judea, into the city of David, the city of Bethlehem, to be taxed. Now, this article I got here that I want to read, the article is called Roman Government and Tax Collection in Palestine. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just going to read like let me see, the third paragraph into the fourth paragraph. It says, the Romans, in the case of Judea, which we read here in Luke the 2nd chapter, from the 1st verse to about the 5th verse, Joseph left Galilee to go into Judea, into the city of Bethlehem, to be taxed. The Romans, in the case of Judea, followed the same policy which they had employed toward the other provinces in tributary countries, because they had us in subjection and we were tributaries. We had to pay tax unto them. They made it a point not to interfere with the religion of the people, nor to hinder any religious usages, so long as they did not conflict with the glory of Rome. But the laws of Rome had to be enforced, and Roman garrisons were stationed in the principal cities, that of Jerusalem occupying the Tower of Antonia adjacent to the temple. The adjustment of religious differences was in the hands of the ecclesiastical authorities, but punishments of a civil and criminal nature were in the hands of the government, including the sentence of death pronounced upon the basis of a religious transgression. The presence of Roman soldiers was always deeply resented by the Jews. We hated those sons of bitches, and especially the Pharisees, as an unjustified encroachment upon ancient liberties. Because it was an encroachment, they were basically occupying us. We were being occupied by you goddamn devils, you so-called white people back then, under the name of the Roman Empire. The greatest difficulty, the chief point of contention between the Jews and the Roman government, lay in the question of taxes, which right now in 2011 we're being taxed to death. And right now they got this thing going on where if they don't sign the tax cut provision, people are going to be taxed about $1,000 more. Now I'm under the impression, I believe the tax is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, $1,000 a month. I got to look more into it, because if it's going to be $1,000 a year, you take $1,000, you divide it by 52 weeks, that comes out to about $19.23 a week, which is about $20 a week extra. But if it's going to be monthly, then that's basically $250 extra a week in taxes. If it's going to be an extra $1,000 a month, that's about 12 G's a year. People are going to be crying. There's going to be riots out there in the street. You wait. But now, getting back to the article, it says the members of the Jewish church, both in Palestine and in the diaspora, felt the obligation of maintaining their elaborate form of worship as a heavy burden, the voluntary contributions, the oblations, and offerings did not afford sufficient revenue for the upkeep of the temple and for the payment of the many priests and Levites, and so assessments had to be levied upon every member of the church. The annual temple tax imposed upon all those that were numbered was at the time of Yahushua about a half shekel or a double drachma, because the Romans dealt with the drachma. We had the shekel, they had the drachma, which amounts to about 60 cents of, say, our money today, something like that. That's what this person is saying here in the article. But it says the annual temple tax imposed upon all those that were numbered was at the time of Yahushua. Now I said it was annually. Now we know Joseph went, as it says here in Luke 2:1, and it came to pass in those days that Augustus Caesar had put out that decree. Now Joseph, he left Galilee to go into Judea, into the city of Bethlehem, to go pay taxes, right? Now, when Joseph went to go pay taxes, this basically took place in the springtime. It wasn't in no wintertime and no goddamn December 25th, as most of these dummies would have you believe. It was in the springtime. Now, at that time in Jerusalem, especially in the wintertime when the snow came down, you didn't have snow plows like we have now in the modern day times to go and plow the roads so then people can move about and businesses can open. Back then in the ancient world, when the snow came down, everything was at a standstill. So there was no way in hell that Joseph left Galilee to go to Judea to go pay taxes at that time in no damn wintertime, taking his woman who was pregnant to go that far to go and pay no taxes. When the taxes were paid was in the springtime, and even now here in modern day America, your taxes are due by April 15th. You get your W-2 form like in January, February, but your form has to be submitted, your income tax has to be submitted by April 15th. Now, at the time when Joseph left to go to Jerusalem to pay the taxes was in the springtime, and you're going to come to see that as I go more and more deep in depth on this whole thing about the nativity and about being born on December 25th, which is a farce, which is a damn lie. And we know that how the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes 1:9, and if I can get that real quick, because America, this is modern day Rome, and in modern day Rome, they do the same things that was done in the ancient Roman Empire. So it makes sense with the taxes being paid, that the taxes had to be paid basically in the springtime, just like right now in this day and time in America, April 15th. Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us." So even right now, when taxes are paid now, it has to be paid by April 15th. Now back then, when Joseph left when he left Galilee to go to Judea to pay them taxes, it wasn't in no damn wintertime. So you people, you're off your rocker. There's all kinds of clues here in the scriptures as to, when the Lord was born. And he damn sure wasn't born on no December 25th. And the word December is not even in the Bible. So now let's go further into it. Like once again, like as you see the picture here, you people, you believe that in the snow and in the winter that Joseph took his woman pregnant and left to go to Jerusalem in the snow to go and pay taxes to the Romans. I mean, you Jake out there, you Jakes are gone, man. You're beyond gone. And the white man, he's just the devil. He's just being who and what he is meant to be. He's just the devil. Now, the next thing I'm going to touch on is an article called Christ Was Not Born in December. This article gives a lot of good information, but it goes off. But now I'm going to read some in here. read through it because there's a lot of good information in this article.